Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I actually just want to chat with you guys while I do my makeup because I realized I've never done that, and it's time we start getting to know each other because, you know, we're family, we love each other. That's why you guys always come back to check on my videos, and I really appreciate that. First off, I'm going to be priming my eyes. This is my LA Girl Pro Primer. So yeah, guys, the story I want to tell you guys is about my encounter with a fuck boy. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word fuck on YouTube, but I'm just gonna say F boy. It's quite an interesting story, so just grab your popcorn, okay? I met this guy when I traveled for a friend's wedding because I live in Lagos, Nigeria. You know how it is now, we're girls. When you see like, okay, this friend has gotten married, the other friend has gotten married, like this one is engaged, planning her wedding, and then you're like, okay, I'm not engaged, I'm not getting married anytime soon. You're like, okay, what is really going on? So that was actually what was happening to me at that point in my life. So at that point, you know, I basically was open to meeting someone, you know, someone new. I don't know, not that I was desperate or anything. So that was the state of mind I was in when I met this particular guy. And this guy is actually a Lagos big boy. Yeah, I didn't know as of then when I met him. He actually even used to be on one of our big reality shows here in Nigeria. I'll be taking this shade right here. When I saw him, he's this kind of guy that he's a hunk, you know, tall, dark and handsome. You know the way girls are like, we like tall, dark and handsome. A drink of cold water on a hot day, that's what my friend says whenever she wants to describe a guy that is really attractive. He had the whole muscular thing going on, like muscles. His guns were really big. You know, he was cute, yeah, or he is cute, whatever, if he's still alive. I don't care. Anyway, he has like a lot of tattoo everywhere, like tattoos and all that. And I don't know about other people, but for me, there's just something about when someone has tattoos everywhere. It kind of like, I won't say it's a turn off, but there's just this, like there's this profiling. I know it can be unfair sometimes, but I just profile that person to be probably a troublesome person. Like when you have tattoos all over your body. I'm not talking like one or two tattoos, like tattoos all over your arms and all. That was the first thing I noticed when I saw him at first. I wasn't attracted to him at first, to tell you guys the truth. But you know, after he made it a point of duty to talk to me, because I did makeup for the people there at the wedding. He came to talk to me on the whole, oh, you do makeup, that's nice. Is this your personal outfit or do you work for someone? I told him that I'm self-employed. It's basically my own makeup company and all that. So he was like, oh, that's really good. Where do you reside? I said I reside in Lagos. He said, oh, he lives in Lagos too. That's nice. Okay. He was going out of his way to talk to me. I didn't really see that as anything. Like I just brushed it off when we met that first time. Then later that day, after I was done doing makeup and everybody had left for the venue, you know how it is when you're the makeup artist. It was just me. I had some time to quickly do my own makeup, get into my dress, and I wanted to leave. And because it was somewhere I was not familiar with, I needed directions. And then I had made a friend. There was someone else that also came for the wedding, that me and her basically became friends, and we were looking for how to locate the venue for this event. And at that moment, it happened that this guy was just getting dressed and about to leave for the venue. So he saw me and my friend, the new friend that I just made. He saw us just standing by the gate and trying to make some calls to know, okay, how do we get to the venue, you know. And you know, he was in his jeep looking all sleek, looking like he was looking really good. He wore this, you know, when you see a guy in agbada, there's something about agbada. If you're Nigerian, you know what they call Yoruba demon. See, Yoruba demon now is no longer restricted to only Yorubas. That's Yoruba demon. Basically, it's transmitted through agbada. Any guy that wears agbada, fear him. But right now, I'm just going to be going in with this brown here, this shade of brown here, you know. And he saw me and my friend standing outside, and he stopped and I was like, oh, what's going on? I told him, oh, I'm trying to find my way. And he was like, oh, would you like to ride with me? And I'm like, oh, please, I'd love to. Like, if you don't mind, you could just give me and my friend a ride. He made it a point of duty that I sat beside him. My friend sat at the back. I did not know. I was just clueless. So when the party was in full gear and all, he kind of located me. There were a lot of hot chicks there. I don't even know why. He did not see any other person. It was me. But he came over to me where I was just seated on my own. I started making conversation. He came with a bottle of champagne and he was all nice and gentlemanly and all that. Started, you know, just basically asking me questions, getting to know me. And I noticed that There was a bit of a braggadocious attitude to him. I think somebody was passing and he knew the person. They were like, oh, he called the man over. The man came, they greeted, exchanged pleasantries, and he was like, this is my uncle that helped me make my first million. My man, I'm like, okay, your uncle made your first million. So you're basically trying to tell me that you're a millionaire. Good for you. So we got talking, talked about zodiac signs. I'm a Pisces. I was born March 20th. He happens to be a Taurus. And I think this explains why I don't really like Tauruses. I don't know if you're watching this video and you're a Taurus, except somebody's going to change my opinion about Tauruses. But after that experience, I'll be taking this shade right here now to do the transition in here. We just got talking. He asked me when I was born. He asked me about my family. He told me a bit about his family. When someone is genuinely trying to make conversation, trying to get to know you, and he sounded genuinely interested in what I had to say. So I'm like, okay. I was supposed to travel the next day because, the whole event was over. Tried to talk me into not leaving, and I'm like, I came here for a job. I can't just stay, and I have a business to attend to back in Lagos. There's just this thing guys do, where in the midst of conversation, they like dropping hints about marriage. They'll be like, I know you are doing shakara. When I marry, all these things, you'll not be doing it, you'll be the one looking for me. Just make jokes. And I genuinely thought I had met someone reasonable. This person I'm talking about is not a young guy. He's like well into his 30s. So I felt like this is someone that he's at a point in his life where he must have discovered himself and might be looking for something serious. But then you don't judge a book by its cover, or in this case, you don't judge a man by his age. The next morning, I woke up on time. Me and my friend, because she too had to leave for Lagos, we went to the bus park and we were out. And my friend was like, babe, how far? That guy likes you. That she had been observing it ever since. I'm like, I didn't even know. She was like, they dear. You understand? I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's see what happens. She was like, oh, that one a big fish. She's like, that one a big fish. Hold on tight. I'm like, let us see now. I called my girlfriend, my really good friend, then I told her like, I just met someone, blah, 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 blah. I described him, blah, 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 blah. She was like, oh, girl, why are you getting so excited? That don't be too excited that you don't watch out. Like, get to know this person well. Don't be in a hurry and all that. Typical bestie advice. That was what she gave me. Thank God for that advice. Like, that's one person that when I'm just overdoing or overthinking things, I can always call her and she'll snap me back to reality. Taking this shade for my highlights. The palette I'm using is the 88 color palette matte eyeshadow by BH Cosmetics. Using that color there for my brow highlight. So I got to Lagos and I was thinking that this nigga was going to call me. He didn't call me. You knew I was going to travel. He didn't call me to know how my journey went, if I got to Lagos safely or if I died on the road. So I did not call him either because I can be proud like that. Then the next day, I still did not hear from him. Then I sent him an SMS. I was like, it's really unfair that you did not bother to know how my journey went, And then he started calling me. And then he was like, oh, that he's so sorry. He had some runnings to do, blah, blah, blah. Whenever you're in the East, you have to see this relative, that relative. The next day again, he called me video call. We were chatting, we were laughing. I'm like, okay, everything is good and well. That was the vibe I was getting. And when he came back to Lagos, we still did not see immediately because he said his mom wasn't feeling fine. He's one of those diaspora kids that speaks super, or you can speak Igbo, sha. Those that are born and bred in Yankee, that have plenty money. He was telling me how, though he might be from a privileged background, that he's not particular about the background of the girl he gets married to. That he's okay with any girl. She can be from a rich home, she can be from a middle class, she can be from a poor home. That he just wants something real. When the guys start telling you stuff like that, you actually think this is someone that has sense. Do you get? Then eventually, I noticed that I wasn't hearing from him regularly anymore. Sometimes I would do the hard to get thing. I will not call him. Then he will call. Sometimes I'll just swallow my pride and call. That was all we're doing. There was just a bit of inconsistency. I knew something was wrong. So I would speak to my friends. I'm like, what's going on? And they'd be like, well, some guys like to be chased. That there's nothing wrong if you're the one calling him, once or twice. That's not a big deal. So sometimes when I don't hear from him, I will call. Other times I'll just stay mute. And sometimes he will call them. The D-Day came. We're supposed to have our first date. So he called me up and I was like, okay, I'm on the mainland. Would you like to have dinner? And I was like, okay, let me think about it. Then I called my girlfriend. I was like, he just asked me to dinner. Like at that point, I was already into this guy. I'm not gonna lie, I was tripping, like I was head over heels. Oh no, before then, I'm sorry. One of those days he was going to see his mom. He quickly dropped by at my house. He came to see me. Then I'd already given my sister the gist that, okay, there's this bobo, you understand? And he seems to be serious, so he's so interested in me. He seems to be someone that has his head, a good head on his shoulders, blah, blah, blah. I thought it was genuine. My sister was already excited for me that, oh, finally, she has found someone that, you know. He came to my house, so you won't believe. Like, when he came to the house, everybody was so excited. You know, we cleaned the house, we cooked, we did this, we did that. Wife material 1,000 yards. So, yeah, no. Nothing that the guy was not even worth it. So, this dude came, you know. I was feeling like Cinderella. See, guys, I am from a very, very average background. Okay? Nothing fancy about me. I'm just a regular girl. So, he came to my very average-looking neighborhood. I was not feeling one kind, like Cinderella. You know now. By the time he left, my sister was like, oh, we have to start planning you as she be. Like, she was like that, she approves. And the guy seems good. He was very nice, he was respectful. So, some days after that was when he now called and asked me out to dinner. So, it was a Friday. I went, you know, we had dinner and it was just at a bar, not at any fancy restaurant or anything. He was like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. He was like, I know you can't remember, but I remember that day when I saw you. He described what I was wearing. You were wearing this dress. Little I was like, this girl doesn't know that she just carry her face up and down. She doesn't know that she's going to be my next girlfriend. And I was like, blush. I'm like, oh my god. He was all sweet, you know, smooth talker. But when we're done eating, he was like, oh, it's a Friday night. Would I like to go clubbing? But I'm like, clubbing. I didn't plan for that. Okay, but I'm not dressed to go clubbing. He's like, okay, don't worry. How about if I get an Uber to take you home? You just basically pack the things you need and then you come and we'll get ready together and go. So I now agreed. He called an Uber. I went home. I picked some things. My sister was like, okay, have fun. I got back. So we got ready, went clubbing. You know, he was that kind of guy that when we were about to leave for the club, you know, the car, he basically held my hand, opened the door for me. This guy was so slick. He had moves. I should have known. Like, nobody has ever done it like this, so slick to me. Before we got ready to leave, after I was done with my makeup and all that, he was like, okay, close your eyes. I have something for you. I have a gift for you. And I'm like, okay. First day, he's already giving me gifts. Nice. So I closed my eyes, feeling like Rose from Titanic. And he came and slipped something on my wrist, like a bracelet. When I opened my eyes, I saw it was a freaking Louis Vuitton bracelet. And I'm like, oh my god, he's giving me designer gifts. Oh Lord. Finally, I hit the jackpot. Look, mama, I made it. You know, I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my god. Wow, this is so beautiful. It was like, not as beautiful as you. You know, like they just have the perfect compacts. And I'm like, oh god. You know, but he was like, oh, it seems like it's a little big for you. I said, well, it doesn't matter. It's Louis Vuitton. I'll just wear it. And he's like, oh, I have it resized for you and all that. I'm like, let me just wear it tonight, okay? At the club, I noticed all the girls were looking at him. So everything we came back. I wanted to go home. I purposely did not pack any of my toiletries because I wanted to go home that night. At this point, I just applied my eyelashes and lined my eyes. I'm going to be using the Pond's primer to prime my face right now before I go in with foundation. So back to my story. It was not my intention to spend the night because it was the first date and I can be very conservative. It wasn't my plan, but somehow he was like, okay, I can't get you an Uber, it's late, why don't you just stay? I eventually stayed, you know, but in my heart I knew that, okay, this is a first date, this is someone that I barely know, so we were just going to sleep, like go to bed innocently. That was my plan. But you know how guys can be. Sometimes you're planning something and they're planning something of their own. He definitely tried to get some. He was trying to make advances at me and all, and I'm like, I barely know you. I don't do stuff like that. Like, why don't we get to know each other? You've not even asked me to be your girlfriend. Like, you've not even asked me out. And I don't do that whole fling, one night stand thing that you need to actually not rush me, you know. And he was actually nice about it. He was a gentleman and everything was cool. But the next morning, bros was not sulking. He wasn't talking to me, he was giving me attitude, and I'm like, what's going on? Okay, that if this is what it's going to be, I need to go home. So I showered and I left. Now I'm going to be going in with my MAC in the shade NW50 all over my face right now. Then the next day, we were actually supposed to see, you know, and it turned out that this guy was not picking my calls. He wasn't texting me on WhatsApp. Like, he basically just started ignoring me. At first I didn't know that was what he was doing because I felt we had like an understanding. I thought it was someone that had sense, but basically the fact that I turned him down must have gotten to him and he started acting up. So Baba will not pick my calls. But do you know what this guy would do? In the morning, he would just send me a message on WhatsApp. Good morning, Dumebi. How are you doing? I'll say I'm fine. Did you sleep well? I'll reply. And that's it. The next morning, he'll do the same thing. Like, that's like the weirdest thing. He kept doing that. I was like, okay, could it be that this guy was just after one thing? But I'm like, if he was after that and obviously he didn't get it, he would have left me by now. But then he still keeps sending me these good morning messages and acting like he cares and all that. So I was torn. I didn't understand. I spoke to a couple of friends. I'm like, okay, look at what is happening. Like, people were like, he probably still cares. He's probably maybe just injured pride and all now. At some point, and I felt, okay, if really it was a thing of injured pride, I probably should just, maybe I owed him an explanation. So I sent him a message explaining. I was like, okay, I'm sorry, probably I injured your pride or your ego or whatever, but that's just the kind of person I am. Okay, I need to know if we're in a relationship. Let's be in a relationship. Let's define what it is. I don't do the whole meet a guy today and then tomorrow. That's not the kind of person I am. So I told this dude that, okay, if you want us to talk about this, just let me know. You can call me. Let's just see and then actually talk about what happened and then know the way forward. He did not reply that message. You won't believe that, because I knew he worked weekdays and would be free weekends. I actually used to leave my weekends open. I did that for 2 weeks. I was so stupid, to the extent that I got some calls for bookings from clients and I actually turned them down because I wanted to be available if he eventually called me. Like, how stupid could I have gotten? So after doing this for 2 weeks and this nigga would just do the whole good morning thing, blah blah blah, I was fed up. You understand? I was like, okay, are you keeping malice with me? Are you fighting me? I didn't know what was going on. It was like he was just playing with my emotions. At that point, I now decided to start ignoring him. When he would send the whole good morning thing, I'd read it and I would not reply. Sent me messages twice. The first time I ignored. He sent me again, I ignored. And then I noticed that he stopped sending. So one day out of the blues, I was still not over this guy. One day I just hit him up because I was fed up. I'm like, okay, we have to stop playing these games of seeing who can ignore each other the most. Let's actually sit and talk through this thing. One day I spoke to a friend of mine. She was like, do you know what you're going to do? Just give this guy a call and tell him that if he wants something serious, if you guys are in a relationship, he should let you know so that you can know what to do. But if not, you guys should move on. So I took her advice and I called the idiot. And I'm like, hi, what's up? Are you free? And I was like, oh, he's at work. He's going to call me later. I'm like, okay, fine. He didn't call me. The next day, like, I texted him on WhatsApp. I was like, oh, you said you were going to call, but you didn't call. Hope everything is fine. He's like, oh, yes, it's fine. I said, I want us to talk. That when would you be free for us to talk? And then he was like, that he's going through something right now. He's going through a phase that he can't deal with this right now. And I'm like, oh, really? I said, okay, I'm sorry if I seem to be all up in your business now. I'm going to give you your space from now on and have a nice life. And to God who made me, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I told myself that was it. It's easy for me to talk about it right now, but it was not easy for me then. Like, everybody knew I was broken. I don't even understand how I got to care for someone that soon. So at that moment, I knew that I needed to get him out of my system. Now I'm just going to be highlighting my face using the Elegant Pro Conceal in Fawn. Then I had already gotten the answer I needed from him. If he couldn't make the time out to meet me, I just figured, okay, obviously this person, it's beyond him just maybe feeling hurt that he was turned down. This is actually this guy acting like this was really what he wanted from me and he didn't get it. So he had moved on to the next victim. So I had to move on. But now, you won't believe that I could not. I would be stalking this dude on Instagram. I will go to his page. I will go and check out who he liked, whose pictures he liked. And he was always liking bootylicious girls' pictures. And I happen to be a little bit on the petite side. I'm not that petite anymore because I've added weight recently though. But, you know, he liked all the bootylicious kind of girls. He was always liking their pictures, dropping comments. And this dude would see my pictures and not like. He would ignore me. I was obsessed. It was bad. I spoke to a couple of friends, you know, and one of them was like, this is not ordinary. That babe, this one is not ordinary. So my friend told me that she was doing a 1 week fasting and prayer exercise, that would I like to join her, you know, that I should probably pray over this because this might just be a distraction. So she was like, this is not ordinary, this is not helping you. You can't be hung up on someone that doesn't care about you. You know, spending days and nights crying and stalking this person like you don't have a life. We need to fast and pray. And that was it though. You guys won't believe that it took this spiritual exercise for me to get over this guy. It was that bad. I did like a 6 to 6 fasting, you know, for about 5 days, and I did midnight prayers before I started getting over this guy. Don't make excuses for any guy. If he wants to be with you, he can never be too busy to call you. He can never be too busy to make time out to see you. Into the Zikel blush, powder and highlight palettes, and I'll just take this shade right here to set my highlight. I'm not using a setting powder today. I'm taking this shade right here to apply on the rest of my face. Now I'll be taking this purple shade as my blush. This one right here. Shade that I use to set my highlights. I'm just priming my lip now with the lip balm. Taking this highlights, the Rebel highlights and bronzer, and I'll be taking this shade right here. My lipstick, I'll be using the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Lipstick in the shade Heartbreaker. This is a red color, and I'm going to be using a lip pencil, Milai lip pencil, and this is a wine color to line my lips. This is something I like to do for red lipstick sometimes, to give it an almost kind of ombre look. To brighten the inner part of the lipstick, I'm going to be taking the classic makeup lipstick in tomato.
Yeah, there's even a part of the gist I left out, guys. You won't believe that this guy was so petty that, you know, I told you guys that the night before, after the whole clubbing thing, he was trying to get it on, and I turned him down. So the next morning, he was now sulking, and I just didn't have time. I couldn't deal with that rubbish, so I just prepared to go home. I went in to the bathroom and took my bath. By the time I came back to like pack my things into my bag and go, I noticed that on the table where I kept my jewelry set, my earrings, and including the bracelet with Louis Vuitton bracelet that he gave me, you know, I was about to pack my things into my bag. Then I noticed that everything was there except for that Louis Vuitton bracelet, and I was like, what's going on? So I asked him, I was like, what's up? How about the bracelet that you gave me, the gift that you gave me? I was like, I told you it was fake, that I was going to resize it for you. I'm like, okay. He says, don't worry, I'm going to give it back to you. I just have to take it back to the lady I got it from, that will resize it. No problem. You guys do not believe that up until today I never got that bracelet back. So guess what? Is that bracelet like the price for whichever girl lets him have his thing? I don't get it. Like, how petty can a person be?
So guys, this is the finished look. You guys just wait. I need to put on my earrings and change this outfit so you guys can just see the whole thing. I'll be right back. I basically drew inspiration from these earrings. I saw this beautiful pair of tassel earrings and I got them, and I'm like, okay, I need to do a look that will let my earrings shine. So the makeup look is basically not overstated, and I did red lips because of the red earrings. Yeah, and well, this is the finished look. I hope you guys like it, and I hope you guys enjoy my gist. Let me know if you want more videos like this, because believe me, I have a lot of gist for you guys. So drop your comments and let me know, like, what do you guys think about this F-boy thing? It's becoming like a real problem in society right now. I mean, you can't just go ahead asking for something when you're not willing to give anything in return, right? So, well, basically, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to give it thumbs up and share if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new, okay, and join the family. We're just one big happy family over here, and I'd like you guys to be a part of it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
so fabulous.